Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Thompson, and I've been talking to St. Louis Board of Elections Democratic Director Mary Wheeler-Jones, and we were talking before about some of the important dates coming up. And let's just get into some of the things like poll worker recruitment. That's a big issue right now that you're actually looking for some people, I understand, to help out.
Yes, for big elections like a presidential election, we always need a large number of poll workers, but we need approximately maybe 2,000 if we add up all the different positions that are available as poll workers. So, and they have to be registered voters and preferably live in the city, because we try not to take away from the St. Louis County, because they need people too. So you can imagine how difficult that is to get
2,000?
people. Yeah,
really how
yeah. I mean, would you count all the different positions we have available that need to be covered on election day? I would say about 2,000 workers. So,
and does political affiliation, you know, when you go to elect, sometimes there always has to be a Democratic
right. We have some
positions.
Most of the positions have to be a Democrat or Republican for the bipartisan part of it and the fairness of it. So we also have some positions that we don't require to know your party affiliation. So if you don't want to do that, we have those positions as well. But we do need lots of Democrats and a lot of, well, we need more Republicans than we need Democrats, because the city tends to be Democratic. So it's hard to find Republican judges to work, but we do need them. So.
And so if people are interested, who should they contact your office? Or
they should contact my office. After we finish, some people from my office will be here talking about the same thing. So they need to call our office number, which I think you have on your website, if they're interested in working as poll workers, or stop by the office or go online and they can fill out an application online. And we'll
Before we, in the first segment, we were talking about, I was sort of alluding to sometimes I come across people who don't vote for pretty, in my mind, in my opinion, sort of odd reasons, you know, not very compelling reasons. It's too difficult, or sometimes it can be an issue of work. I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, this is obviously your role, is to really get the community engaged in the voting process. What do you say when people say something like, oh, it's too difficult to register, or I don't want to, why does this matter?
Well, of course, I argue each point. Well, not argue, but I tell them why, you know, I go against each point. But you do run into some people you're just not going to win that case with. And during a presidential election, a lot of people come out and vote. But we do try to educate people, like the elections coming up in the spring. It'll be a low turnout for those kind of things. And we're trying to educate people to understand you need to come out for your local elections as well as your big elections, like the president. When you can call your mayor, you can call your alderman, you can't call the president of the United States and say, I have this issue. So we try to educate people about voting in every election, because they all count.
Sometimes I feel that people don't always understand the information about candidates. Like, where do they find? I'd say when I kind of look at the issues at hand, and we're voting on this amendment, or this person who's up for this position or this office, that they don't necessarily know their history, their bio, their opinions. Is that part? Where does that responsibility fall to find out that information for the public to then be more engaged?
We don't tend to educate people on a candidate, but we do try to make sure you know what candidates are on the ballot. We send out a notice card every election, and we usually put a sample ballot attached to it. For the November, there'll be all the general election sample ballot that have all the candidates on there, so people at least know who they are. Now, for them to research what their stance is, they have to do that on their own. We don't get into that part of it. It's kind of partisan to start talking about those things. So we are a very bipartisan and nonpartisan office.
But you'll give them information about the ballot and obviously the location.
Who's on it, and so they can be educated before they go in the polling place. Actually, the notice card we sent out, you can actually take that into the polling place with you, and you can have it already marked up, so you'll know what to do, and that'll take less time on election day.
Making it as easy as
possible. And we try to do that with you saying people don't want to register. We make that easy by all the different locations you can go register. So.
No, that's great.
We do the best we can, but
listen, keep it up. It's an important thing. I mean, it's a right that you have as a citizen.
And I have that argument all the time. Do you know?
That this is something that people fought long and hard to have. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of those dates. Again, first, this is registering to vote. The locations are the election board office, in person or by mail. You can actually go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, the Division of Family Services, and any public library. A lot of people don't know that, but you can go to any public library. And then the dates, we're going to look at that. Obviously, the general election is November 6th. It's a big one, presidential election, but again, some local issues and state and local that you need to look into. The last day to register to vote is October 10th. Absentee voting open September 25th. Last day to request an absentee ballot by mail is October 31st, and the last day to vote absentee in person is November 5th. And again, stlelections.com or 314-622-4336 if you have any questions or need more information.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Got a couple more. You've got, what, 6 weeks to go, is it? So
yeah, I guess you can say that.
So, yeah.
It's a busy time.
It's a busy time, but hang in there, and thank you for coming in and sharing
Thank
this
you.
information
Thank you very much.
with our audience. And we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I'm going to talk with Nicole McMillan about her Brighter Days organization. Of course, remember, STL TV can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and connect with us, and we'll keep you informed about all the great events and organizations around the city. And we're streaming live 24 hours a day on stltv.net. We'll be right back with more after this.